House of the Dragon episode 6 is finally here, and holy shit, this was a great episode. It was quite the time jump though. It jumped, I forget the exact time it jumped, but it jumped like super far into the future. And so it kind of just throws a lot of characters at you and reintroduces you to stuff and feels very much like the first episode of Game of Thrones. You're like, who is that? Who is this? Huh? Who is this? Kind of thing. Um, and you know that wasn't horrible. It really worked actually. But there was a couple moments where it did feel like, wait, did I miss something? But it was still a really good episode. The only issue I had was there's a scene where a character gets spoilers gets murdered by a dragon, and the way that happened, it felt like you were supposed to feel more than what happened, but it was kind of hard to understand what was communicated and what wasn't about the murder, I guess. But yeah, and there's a lot of dragons in this episode, and that was really cool. It finally feels like we're in the show House of the Dragon, because a lot of before the show came out, the creators were talking about, hey, you're going to see hundreds of dragons. You're going to see all these different people and cool stuff. And, you know, like in the first episode, we saw some dragons. For the last few episodes, we've rarely seen the dragons. It felt very much like Game of Thrones, where you only see dragons on special occasions, on which this show is still kind of doing, which I like, because you know one of the things that got annoying towards the end of Game of Thrones is like you only had battles on very rare occasions. You only had dragons on very rare occasions. And towards the end of the show, it was like every episode, that's what's going on. So it's nice that when we get to this show, they're keeping that tradition, even though there's more battles, there's more dragons, there's more of that stuff, and it feels really good and natural. I really like this episode. I love Rings of Power, but sometimes this show is so good that it gets me excited, and it outweighs my excitement for Lord of the Rings. Just kind of there. I hate comparing them because they are very different types of fantasy. They're both great shows, and one's overhated, and one's, House of the Dragon. So I don't know, but love this episode.